Hello. So I want to talk about the albums that I found uh, every single year from 2025 down to like 2018. I think they're really good albums, and they might not be like everyone's album of the year, but they're definitely mine. And I think they're deserving of a listen. I will post a little bit of each song so that you can listen to it just a little bit so you can see why I like it so much. My favorite song from that album. And I'm not gonna rank them because that would be unfair since they all came out in a different year. But I will say that one of my favorite songs of all time is this song called this one right here. One, two, more. My Sputnik Sweetheart by Weather Day. And honestly, it's like a really repetitive guitar that I like about it so much. And I'm very pleased that it doesn't go away for a really long time. And I like progressive songs and I like digressive songs. Like songs that get better and better as it goes on, and then songs that change up with like, melodic breakdowns, but the melodic breakdowns can be better than the original consistency of the song, or just different, and when it comes back, it's progressive. It's like if you combine both of those, kind of like a System of a Down song, it's so pleasing to my ears that I don't know how to explain it. I mean, like, it's a hard thing to find for sure in music because it's so complicated. It's very complicated music, it's very complex. Simple songs that are consistent the whole way are really good too. But songs like this are just, when it's good, just one of a kind. And I always keep them really close to my heart. I'll actually make a video one day of like all the songs I think are really good that are like that. Very complex, digressive, or progressive songs. So the second song is this one right here. It's from the album Midnight Society, and it's just a really great song. I really like piano, Honestly, piano, violin, and specifically bass guitar are my three favorite instruments, and it's really hard to find songs that have all of those in them and it not be like very chambered, which means like it's just not epic, it's chambered. But this is a really good example of something that can have all three. I don't know if it has violin, I forget, but if you find a song that even just has two of those instruments or one that are really good, like the piano in this song, it's gonna be a favorite of mine. And so far I've only met like one or two songs that have all three instruments, but that's because how the heck are you supposed to do like bass guitar and not just an actual bass, you know? But yeah, it's possible. It is possible because I've done it before. And I also found that that Avatar song, Last Agni Kai, did that as well. I don't know if there's piano in that song though, but there easily could have been. Definitely easily could have been. So anyway, yeah, that's my second album. It's called Midnight Society, and it's one of those songs or one of those albums that every single song is a good piano song or a good lo-fi song when there's no piano. This one in particular is the first song on the album, and yeah, it's just a really good song. The next album is called 3. It's just called 3 by Ite the Maid, and 3 are in Roman numerals. And this song in particular is called 18 Plus. The vocals are in Russian, the lyrics are in Russian, but you can translate them on like a certain site that already did that. It's a really interesting melody, I think. It's maidcore, which honestly is like one of my favorite genres of metal and punk and rock, like all combined into one, you know? And breakcore, a lot of breakcore, like metal breakcore, which I think is pretty cool. And they actually do it with piano. So breakcore plus piano has to have piano, or else it's just repetitive. And I really like that. I really like that about this entire album. Is it's just a lot of really good piano. I tend to have a lot of really good piano albums on this list. But yeah, this song in particular, especially towards the middle, coming towards the outro, is very soothing and melodic. Even though it's in Russian, it feels like an alternative pop song, honestly, but it definitely is not. And it's also made in Russia, which I'm sure is illegal for that person to make because of the, lyrical content and the ideology behind maidcore. It's very femboyish. It's like, well, not that it's funny. It's just, they're very hateful towards the LGBTQ community in Russia.
Загибаю по странице, впереди открыт финал. Я хочу, чтобы однажды ты о нем все сам узнал. Подбираясь к сути дела, постигая общий цен. Может, я смогу избавить от бессмысленных проблем и бессонными ночами при попытках засыпать, безболезненно пытаясь в памяти себя держать.
And this next album is called A Country Western, their debut album. I think it's their debut album, but it's their self-titled album, A Country Western. Not a country album. Doesn't have any country songs. It's actually really funny because I never would have even considered this listening to it if I didn't know better. A lot of short songs, like maybe like less than 2 minutes long, like a minute 30. minute 50, less than that even. But they're really unique in a very good way. Songs where they kind of feel like a mixture of Nirvana with a lot of lo-fi elements, like a lot of lo-fi elements. And it's a really good experience if you just want to listen to something that you have never heard and you like combining genres like slowcore, screamo, and lo-fi. If you like those three genres mixed, this is probably the best album that you'll find for that. Don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure if they're screamo. They're just like, really loud sometimes. I don't remember. I kind of don't remember exactly if they're just like a lot of radio waves. Like you understand what I mean, like telephone kind of sounds where like the vocals are distorted. I'm not sure if he's actually like screaming. I don't know, I don't remember. But either way, it's distorted. So you can call it what you want. I think that counts. The next one is called Sinner Get Ready.
It is my voice that bites the back of a cold wind, and it is I who bends the tall grasses. It is I am the one, I am the only one, I have to be.
Sinner Get Ready by, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, Lingua Ignata, I don't know. But anyway, very beautiful, raw, very harsh vocals, but they're not distorted. It's actually very pristine, clear, and produced like with a mastery, obviously, in production. It would be a pop song. Like everything about this production screams pop, but everything about the meaning behind the songs and the lyrics, the harmonies, everything but the production is just extremely not experimental, but like I wouldn't say alternative either. It's more like the pop industry's worst nightmare. Like the songs that will never ever be on the radio. It's illegal in every country that isn't, democracy. It's something that you'll get in trouble for, playing in a church or, at your Christian family's reunion. It's something that honestly is a lot like I want to say neoclassical metal, but it's more like neoclassical opera. Definitely the best way to put it, honestly, is neoclassical opera. She has a very operatic voice where she sounds like, oh, I'm not trying to make fun of her, but like, you know what I mean? Like, she has a very thick and very cursive, not cursive, like in a way where it's like pop but like very moving and looping kind of thing, where she goes up and down octaves and scares the living shit out of you, and then makes you feel, safe. Oh, that's a really bad way to explain it. It's just it's a really deep personal song that will either make you feel closer to God, or it will make you feel better about your awful relationship with God. Because honestly, I count it as Christian music. I don't think it's necessarily like, a bad representation of Christians. I think she's often talking about God, to God, praying to God. So I don't know. It's a weird experience because she says things that most Christians wouldn't agree with. I'm not Christian, by the way. I'm not trying to say that I'm hurt by any of this. It's just I was playing it for a Christian, and she didn't like the music. She did not want to do anything with the first 20 seconds of the song. But anyway, I think if you want to make someone feel good, even if they're in a very tight relationship with the Christian church, I think it's worth an opportunity to show them, it's good to be creative. It's good to express how you truly feel and not hide from it. And she went through a lot. It's very, very torturous. Why do bad things happen to good people? That's what I get from this. Is why do bad things happen to good people? And this album should help you with that. And then what we have next is Banshee by Abriction. And this is a really good album. It is my all-time favorite metal album. I like it more than all System of a Down's albums, which is unbelievable. That might just be because, I overplayed them a bit, but this song that I'm showing you right now, it's not my favorite song on the album, but I can't show you my favorite song on the album because it's not melodic enough. It speaks to me personally because of what I've been through. It's a very emotional song for me individually. This right here, if you want to hear something that is very melodic, this is the song that I think is a good standout to make you want to listen to this album. It's definitely an album that you can see becoming mainstream one day, and I'm surprised most people haven't heard of it, especially this song. This is one of the greatest things I ever heard, honestly. She is my favorite poet. The singer for this, her name is Meredith Salvatore. She's my favorite lyricist, my favorite poet, my favorite songwriter. I think she's better than literally any modern poet or classical one. She makes these lyrics that I wish I wrote. It's I feel like it's healing for my soul. It's I read these lyrics and I'm like, damn, you could You could definitely be the next Bob Dylan, like without a doubt. So definitely give this album a listen. It might take kind of a tuning to your ears because it's completely different than the screams that are usually not this song, but the rest of the songs. The screams tend to get more melodic as it goes on and on. But when you first hear her scream off the first song, it's gonna sound very chambered, which I tend to not like the chambered music. But it gets very atmospheric and pleasant. So if you just don't, really think about the vocals trying to be the main part of the song, instead you focus on the instrumental. Except for this song that I just showed you, like I said, it's definitely an experience that anyone can listen to. It's like post rock if it had, vocals that were carried along with it, that weren't necessarily the main course or main meal of the song, but made the song feel better, you know? And it's really hard to be an amazing songwriter. Like, it is, it honestly just is, to be a hard songwriter, not water anything down and then put that on your instrumental that's very complex, let alone simple, and actually make it sound melodic. She doesn't water her stuff down, which I enjoy, rather than just, it would have been like something that pleases my ears vocally. Not that it doesn't, it's just, it's not something I'm focusing on at the minute. And then, so we got one more album. This one came out in 2025. It's called I Expect the Same of You by Some Images of Paradise. And I've been looking them up a bit, and I actually read that they were greatly inspired. Well, not greatly inspired, but compared to the sound of Sunny Day Real Estate, which is my favorite band of all time, Sunny Day Real Estate. And honestly, it's definitely not incorrect. It's true. I wouldn't say it's 100% true, but there's songs that remind you of the progressiveness, which is the thing I like the most. The fact that it gets better and better, has the quiet loud dynamic, and then also has the digressive nature, which it also, to me, it feels more like it's better comparable to System of a Down than it is to Sunny Day Real Estate, but that's just my opinion. I feel like if you listen to one song, you're not going to understand that, but if you just listen to the entire album from the first song to the last song, not on shuffle, because that's important, don't do that, you will definitely hear what I'm talking about, where it goes from being very consistent, melodic, and beautiful to something that is full of chaos, strangeness, and creative genius. And it does it so beautifully and well that I'm surprised not that many people know about this album. Like, this is my favorite album of 2025. This is the first album that I discovered Oh, actually, no, that was Banshee. But this is, the album, the first album I discovered that I thought was, good enough to be the best of 2025. And I listened to a ton of albums from that year, and I was like, no, they don't compare. They don't compare to this. This was made like, I think in December or October of 2025. So they barely made the cut, which is probably why no one has it on their lists. Because it came out at the very end of the year when everyone was just making their lists, before the album came out. But yeah, this is a song that this song in particular is a song that doesn't sound like you're gonna love it at first. It's not on their Bandcamp page. It's not the song that plays first, because most people aren't going to want to listen to the quietness of the song for the first 3 minutes or whatever. But when you listen to it, it starts to develop this piano that only gets better, with the drums that only get better, and the bass that only gets better, and it's like, holy shit, this is the best song on the album. And the album itself is incomplete without this song. I can understand why it's the first song on the album. It's the most beautiful. It might not be the most favorite of everyone, but it's my favorite. I honestly think it's probably the band's favorite too. I don't know if it's a band or just one person, but I think it's the band's favorite. That's why it's the first song. And like, you gotta really like music, not just like music. You gotta love music just to really, every single time you listen to this, wait for that part. And not only that, enjoy the opening coming into that part all the way to the end and be like, oh man, they can listen to this on repeat for hours. It's a lot like that My Sputnik Sweetheart song, honestly, except for this song, it's progressive and quiet and doesn't let you know what's good about it the first 15 seconds of the song. You have to wait a little bit, like 2 minutes or a minute, just for it to only get better from there. Like in My Sputnik Sweetheart, you hear the repetitive like guitar tremolo where it's like where it just vibrates so heavenly too, and you hear that from the very beginning of the song. This one, you have to wait until it explodes, and I think it's definitely up there with one of the greatest songs of all time. I personally like My Sputnik Sweetheart more than this song, but I like this album more than I like the album for My Sputnik Sweetheart, which is called Come In, by Weather Day. And yeah, so that's my list. If you like these recommendations, these albums, this kind of video where I talk about albums, you actually get to see my face. Just leave a comment, a like, subscribe would be nice. That way I can get more views from people that actually know what I do. I only got like 6 subscribers, so if you just hit that button, maybe hit the notification button too, that'd be cool. I would very much appreciate it. And yeah, that way you can be present when I update you on my posts, because sometimes I do stuff like drop MIDI files, and if you make music and you know what that is, I actually play the piano, and they're really good. If you want to make a nice song. They're free and they're free for nonprofit most of the time. Anyway, that's it. I will let you guys know if this worked out. And I guess you'll let me know if this worked out. I see a lot of other people making these kinds of videos. I hope that I'm one of the people that you want to see do things like this. So, yeah. See you guys later.